After 35 years apart, two lifelong friends are reuniting to embark on an exciting journey of laughter, reflection, and heartfelt conversation. Welcome to the Reality Check podcast, where hosts Jen and Joe dive deep into the topics that matter most, exploring the nuances of life with humor and sincerity. Whether it's sharing personal anecdotes, tackling current events, or sparking thoughtful discussions, this dynamic duo promises to engage your emotions and challenge your perspectives. Join us as Jen and Joe reconnect and invite you into their world, where every episode is a chance to laugh, cry, and think a little deeper. Get ready for an unforgettable experience filled with warmth, wisdom, and a touch of nostalgia. This is the Reality Check Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of the Reality Check podcast, and it happens to also be St. Patrick's Day. We're all festive here. No,
No, we're not.
I am your host, Jen, along with Joe and Joe. We have somebody else joining us. Who is with us today?
Our special guest is celebrating his first birthday. We're super excited to welcome on comedian Dario Joseph, and we'll get to know him a little bit better in just a few minutes. But want to say welcome, Dario. Thanks for joining us today.
Joe, Jen, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Happy first. We're excited to celebrate with you on St. Patrick's Day. It'll be a great party. Nothing like you've ever seen before, I'm sure. But we like to kick it off to talk a little bit about the weekend. And since you're our special guest, we're gonna start with you. How was your weekend? What'd you do this weekend?
Yeah, my weekend was pretty wild. It was my son's first birthday, so we had two parties. On Saturday, we had a family party. We had family come from out of town, Florida, Pennsylvania, New York, all over the place. And then we on Sunday we had friends with kids birthday party over at Total Sports Experience. So it's like a indoor arena turf type of thing, and kids ran around. It was fun. It was great. It was pretty awesome. He's our only kid, so this is our only first birthday we'll ever experience. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, the Total Sports Experience birthday parties. I mean, I've done a number there with my kids throughout the years. They're the best because the kids just run. You get them tired. You give them some food and some drink, and it's all said and done. No cleanup for the parents. No cleanup for the guests. It's literally, hey, kids, go run. And the staff there do a great job. They do an excellent job keeping the kids entertained. Obviously, a 1-year-old, it's probably more running and chasing balls. And did they do like parachute stuff or anything like that? Or
They did, yeah. No, it's very nostalgic. It felt, back in grade school. I haven't done that in 30 years, maybe. So still the same parachute, I remember. But that was pretty awesome. They enjoyed that too. So a lot of kids, basically the same age as my son. So we had a good time.
So I'm just curious, where does your son hang out to make all those friends? Because, being one to get the cool kids and get them all to come to his party, I'm just like, he's got a clique. I'm assuming that he hangs out with.
Yeah, no, he's he's on the message boards on Craigslist and trying to meet friends. So
nice.
no,
I love
it's just all our friends, So
I love it.
But it's
it.
pretty awesome.
Sounds busy. Sounds great.
Yes, it was busy.
Very cool. Jen, what'd you do?
Nothing.
You didn't bag up any stuff for your 40 days of cleanup, did you?
I did. So, Dario, what you do not know about me, or maybe Joe has clued you in, is that
I haven't.
Everything I start, I fail. Because if I don't stay on the track, then I quit. And so there's a new thing, 40 days, 40 bags. You're supposed to give stuff away. And I told Joe that I'm right on track with it. And I did give stuff away over the weekend. Few items. I don't think we're quite at whatever number of bags I'm supposed to be at, but I have consistently given stuff away. So there's progress.
This is like a Marie Kondo thing or something, like the things that don't spark joy.
Yeah, sort of. And then, So that made me go down this rabbit hole of watching YouTube videos about like ADHD and clutter and why do I have so much stuff. And so they were talking about how like you forget where your stuff is. And so you just are like, okay, well, it's gone forever. And you buy another one. And so then now you have two because you find the other one. And I'm like, right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I have like 6 pairs of AirPods at this point. um, yeah, so I made an effort to get rid of more stuff, which, you know, that's a thing. That's about it.
And I'm sure you napped a few times this weekend too.
Yep. Definitely weekends are for napping.
Yeah.
That's
So
nice.
for me, Friday night I got to announce some Far West regional basketball at Gates Chili. Some really good games. Jamestown against Rush Henrietta. That was a great game. Jamestown, small team, played extremely well. Big upset over Rush Henrietta, but awesome game. And the first game, World of Inquiry. If you haven't seen their basketball team play, wow, just wow. This private charter school, their coach, phenomenal ball players. Ended up winning and advancing to state semis. So they'll be playing this upcoming weekend. So a couple good games on Friday night. And then Saturday night, I got to spend the weekend at Turning Stone for work, which was entertaining. Got to see a couple good bands. I did not gamble. The risk versus the reward was not worth it to me. The gamble was me going. I went and was successfully able to leave there with all the money I started with. So that was impressive on my end. But a good time seeing like my staff and the team out of the office and in with their loved ones, with their significant others, having a good time. Some people have never been to a casino before. Some people, have never seen a live band or vice versa. So it was a nice, yeah, it was nice. There were people that didn't see a live band. You make that face, I'm
Ever?
telling you the truth. Ever, never been to live music. So I
Wow.
think that's pretty neat.
Ever?
Like ever. Listen, I didn't
Can't
make it
be
up.
true. Can't be true. It's a
Oh,
lie.
so they lied to me?
Yeah.
Because that's a good thing to lie about. Like if I'm going to lie about something, I'm going to lie about I've never seen a live band.
Joe, people have lied about less.
Okay, fair enough.
What was
There's no possible way.
what was the first live band you saw, Joe?
The very first one ever.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a band. My very first concert ever. I was 16 years old. I saw Alanis Morissette at Alfred. That was my very
Good.
first one.
Heyday,
Yeah.
Alanis.
Oh yeah.
Jagged Little
Yeah.
Pill,
Jagged
Alanis.
Little Pill. Yeah. How
That's
about you?
great. Mine, I think it was Nelly, either DMB or Nelly. It was Country Grammar at Geneseo, and
Oh,
I went to Geneseo, but this was way before I went to Geneseo. But I don't know which one. I'd have to see. But I seen Dave Matthews Band a couple of times too. But
good.
The Whitney Houston.
You saw Whitney Houston live?
Yep. And guess where she was? This was back when Lake Placid.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Cornwall,
Lovely.
Ontario.
No. Lake Placid. That was where all the big shows were. And I saw the Whitney Houston. Followed up by New Kids on the Block. Like 7 times.
Wow. Fortunate for you. Good times. All right. We're going to hop into National Days of the Week. I did take advice this week that we're going to fast forward to next week's National Days, except today. Today is double, March 17th. Obviously, it's St. Patrick's Day, like you already said. But if you were not aware, today is also National Corned Beef and Cabbage Day. It's pretty nice that it fits on the same day as St. Patrick's Day, but it's National Corned Beef and Cabbage Day on March 17th.
must be a coincidence. I don't know.
It's got to be, right? Nobody thought that out.
No.
So next Monday is actually 3 different national days, all having to do with food and beverage. So you can have your food, your beverage, and your dessert. National Cheesesteak Day, National Cocktail Day, and National Chocolate Covered Raisin Day on next Monday. So Dario didn't like the chocolate covered raisins.
They're so random and specific, but are there
Well,
like chocolate covered everything day? Like, is there a
oh,
day for every single thing?
I have not done my research to be able to answer that question, but it is Chocolate National Covered Chocolate Raisin Day. So in case you're
Okay.
hungry for chocolate covered
Raisinets.
raisin, yeah, Raisinets
Yeah.
are making a comeback on next Monday.
Raisinets are
Starting.
good. I like them. Yeah.
Oh, so do I. Not every day, but once in a while is great.
I mean, it's
Next,
all sources of your meal.
yeah, that's what I said. I don't know what cocktails. One of the guys I was with this weekend from work, he's from England, has lived here for a few years, never knew what the word mocktail was. Once he learned what it was this weekend, he was using it all Saturday. He was like, "Would anybody like a mocktail?" We're like, "That's not like you don't have to ask it. Like these are just people that don't drink. Like it's okay." But he was so proud of himself. So he came into work this morning. He was telling everybody how proud he was. So mocktail it
This is
is.
also the guy who, it was also the person who never saw a live band before.
No, this was a person that never been to the casino before. He gambled his free play away like it was his job. Like he lost his $10 quicker than anything I've ever seen. But he was strategic with it. Like he put $2 in on the quick play it in a machine, lose it real quick, and go to another machine. And we're kind of like, you got to stay and play. And he's like, no, I just put my $2 in. I'll go to another one. And very strategic use of that $10. I think he played 5 machines. So walked out with nothing, but did what he could do. March 25th was a boring day. There was no national day that really was worth talking about. March 26th is if you know anybody with epilepsy or any causes that deal with epilepsy, it's Epilepsy Awareness Day. So wear purple next Wednesday. So friends, families, listeners, wear purple, support the Epilepsy Foundation and people that have epilepsy. It's a pretty serious health thing for both youth and adults that can cause a lot of serious um, situations and health situations for people. So wear purple. Make sure you're aware on that day. I'm going to skip over the 27th and come back to it because the 27th is my favorite. And March 28th is National Something on a Stick Day. So if you could have something on a stick, what would it be? I have mine, but if you have something on a stick next Friday, what would it be?
Is it food?
Yeah, it could be food. It could be anything. Something on a stick. National Something on a Stick Day. Corn dog is mine, just in case anybody's wondering. Corn dog is
Corn
my choice
dogs.
by
That's
far.
a good choice. Yeah, Family Feud, that'd be number one, probably.
Yeah.
I'll have like when you go to the fair and they have the cheesecake and it's like dunked in the chocolate and sometimes it's fried too. That's what I'll have.
Yes, I was thinking that one too, definitely. I guess cotton candy, because that works, right?
It's on a
Very
stick.
good.
It's
Yeah.
on a stick, right?
Yeah. All right. You ready for March 27th? This is the biggest and best day that we could ever celebrate. It is National Joe Day. It is National Joe Day. March 27th. Set your calendars ahead. Get your t-shirts made. Get out in the open. There is so many fun facts about National Joe Day that you probably were not aware of. Just to name a few, it's a great day to enjoy a cup of coffee with all your friends named Joe. Joe, Joey, Joseph, Josephine. While you're at it, don't forget Joette, Jody, Johanna, Jody, or any other variant of the name Joe. According to the Social Security Administration, my name was ranked number 6 from 1893 to 1899. 1910, it moved to number 5, but since then it's dropped to 12 or lower. But it's still March 27th, National Joe Day. So make sure you celebrate it. And I'm super excited. That's the best way to end a national week. You're welcome.
We're
How
really
are you gonna celebrate, Joe?
Oh, I'm going to call my friends named Joe or derivatives of Joe, and we're just going to have a party. Um, we're going to have a Joe-Saurus party at TSE, and we're going to go play with the parachutes. And anything else that we can do that day, we are going to do. I might take off work. I feel like that's going to be a national holiday. I'm going to call our current president if he can change names of different things. I feel like we can definitely solidify National Joe Day for me. So you're welcome. You could have the
So
day
does
off
it
too.
really mean coffee?
It's a combination of both. They throw coffee in there, but it is really the name National Joe Day. So you're welcome.
Really weird how you found that.
I was shocked, and then when I knew we were going a week ahead, I was like, "This is super excited for me today."
No wonder
Are
you
there
couldn't
other
call me today.
names?
Oh, I was basking in the glory,
Yes.
basking in the glory of announcing this today. Super excited.
Oh.
Do you know if
So
there are other name days? Like, is there
probably
like
not.
National Mike
Nothing.
Day and
No, nothing's
Steve
important like
Day?
that. No,
No.
no, no.
Let's
I
find
mean,
out.
don't Google and check. Don't check my fact checks. There's nothing to see there.
Jim
Nothing
Day.
to see there. Yeah. Jen, before we get into introducing Dario and talking a lot about what Dario does and brings to uh, light for us today, do you want to share what you're going to try on St. Patrick's Day that's green in front of you?
Not before I let you know that the National Jennifer Day
Oh
is
boy.
May 30th.
I heard it was February 29th.
It's not. Okay, so yeah. So if you were with us a couple weeks ago, we learned that not only is Casey a lifestyle content creator, a true badass, and an amazing CrossFitter, but she also works for Frito Lay. And she said she would get us chips to try. Guess what? I'm going to try the chips. Joe drives past my house every day and doesn't stop, so I will be the only one trying these chips. However, I have to try them today because it's green and it's St. Patrick's Day. So I will be trying the Doritos guacamole chips. Now, they suggest a pairing, like wine and cheese. Well, apparently there's pairings for Doritos too. They say the perfect pairing for these guacamole Doritos is Mountain
The
Dew.
garbage can.
Mountain Dew.
Sadness.
It says enjoy the zesty bite of Doritos with the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew.
Mm.
So, here we go.
Don't take all day. Just take one and try it.
Okay. They smell
Sniff test.
hay.
We're not getting a sponsorship out of that. There's no way. The
These are
Doritos
good.
smell like hay.
These are good.
The horses.
They,
Yes.
like Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yeah.
Sure, heard of it.
They're kind of like those, but they have a little bit of a kick.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you can enjoy them now the rest of the show.
They taste like guacamole or
No,
avocado? No.
not at all.
No.
They taste like Cool Ranch, just green.
Cool Ranch, but they're green with a little kick. Now,
You're gonna do the white ones too?
yeah,
Why? Because
I-
they've just been sitting there.
because I want to. Okay,
Okay.
now these smell accurate. These are twisted queso. They smell like queso. These are very good. These taste like queso. They're perfect. And you don't have to dunk and break your chip off in the actual queso because it's baked right in. So, of the two, I highly recommend twisted queso, not so much on the guacamole.
And according to Casey, they'll be out in like 6 to 8 months. So
Wow.
you won't be able to get them. So good thing we're previewing this so far in advance because people will remember these kind of Doritos. I
Yeah.
will tell you, you don't have a future in taste testing. Your feedback was not like strong, just so you know. One you said you smelled like hay, so people are gonna think they're buying Doritos that are like a barn. And
It was
then
accurate. Am I supposed to lie?
I don't know, but I'm
Wow,
not
these
sure.
are amazing. Except when I try to lie, my face says something completely different.
Fair enough.
But the twisted queso, highly recommend. They must be coming out in the summer because all the advertising on the bag talks about summer.
Well, good job. I'm proud of you. Thank you,
And
Casey,
also,
for getting us these farm and queso Doritos. We appreciate it.
thank you, Casey.
From the future.
Yes,
Chips in the future.
chips in the future. All right, Dario, you are on the hot seat. So welcome to the Reality Check podcast. Dario Joseph is a 2005 Brockport High School graduate, 2010 Geneseo alumni, 2014 winner of the funniest person in Rochester. Now, there's a lot of people in Rochester, so that, kudos to that one. Six-time nominee for Best Comedian in Rochester, 2016 Cleveland Comedy Fest finalist, 2024 comedy album #1 on iTunes Comedy, 2021 and 2024 Best Podcast in Rochester. Watch out, we're coming for you. After Ep7, we are coming strong. I mean, that's why we brought you on, just so we could let you know that we're coming, right? And our ratings are going up after this.
Get the
And
Dario
then
bump.
currently, when you're not telling jokes, or maybe you're still telling jokes while you're doing this, a wealth advisor in Canandaigua National Bank. So Dario, we've welcomed you once. I want to just welcome you a little more formally, and just want to kick it off by saying, hey, can you give us a little bit of history on how you got into the comedy world?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm formally announced with all my credits. So no, I appreciate it. Comedy, like I've always been a fan of comedy. I'm an only child, so I kind of grew up watching comedy just by myself. In the summers, they would always play SNL. I think it was like 11 a.m. or something like that. It was like reruns on Comedy Central, and I would watch them over and over. I was obsessed with that 90s cast, Sandler, Farley, Spade, all those guys. And I was always like a huge fan of SNL, just comedy in general. But I never really got into it until after college. My wife and I, my then girlfriend, we started going to Jiva Theater. So they had an improv troupe, Jiva Comedy Improv. It's now it's disbanded now, but they were going strong for a long time there. And her and I would go to every show. We were just like huge fans. We were just groupies. And we started they would start recognizing us in the audience, and we would go to like after parties over like Marshall Street or some bar that they go to, and so they ended up doing like a summer, a couple of week intensive boot camp. It was a comedy improv boot camp, and I enrolled in that, and that was like my first time on stage doing that type of thing, and it was really fun. It was awesome, and then they had auditions. They had a spot open, and I auditioned. I didn't make it, and then I started stand-up comedy from there. So through failure, I started stand-up, and I've never looked back. That was like what, 2011 or something like that. So yeah. I got the bug, and I've been doing comedy ever since. My wife and I, we moved to New York. We lived in Brooklyn from 2015 to 2019. I was doing comedy down there. And then we moved back, and, I've been doing comedy all around the state since.
That's interesting that you got cut from improv, and now you're kind of improving your own by yourself.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy to think about, right? Like, and you've done some big stuff, so like it's not little things you're doing. I didn't even give all the highlights of the people you've opened up for, or and you could talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But I know from a comedy standpoint, you do a lot locally too, both for fundraisers and as well as just local comedy at Carlson, some other events. What has been your favorite comedy story, or favorite comedian you've met or worked with, or favorite place to perform? Any of those kind of questions.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple of questions in there, but I think my favorite comedian that I worked with was Tom Green. Tom Green was one of my comedy guys, growing up. He's so awesome. He was, the Bum Bum song, and just like the show, Tom Green show, was like revolutionary for comedy itself. You see a lot of clips recently because Joe Rogan went on there, and he kind of like introduced Joe Rogan to like the concept of a podcast and it being live, and it's pretty awesome. And so I met him. Obviously, I was opening for him at the Carlson here, and he was just really cool and approachable and nice. And we shot, we talked for a while. I don't know if we can swear on here, but I won't. But
Jen swore already. It's fine.
yeah. Oh, okay. I missed it. But yeah, so he was just really cool. And the funny thing is that he brought his parents. His parents came too. He didn't bring them. They just came because he's from Canada, and it's not far from, Rochester's not too far from where they live. And so they came down, and like I knew his parents because they were on his show.
Right.
So it's hilarious. So that was one of probably my favorite comedians that I've worked with in the past.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I loved.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I loved him. I loved the Tom Green show. I never missed it. I loved it. It was hilarious. It was just so dumb and so funny. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
No, it's pretty. I mean, it's silly to think, especially while you're watching it, but like looking back, the type of stuff was very groundbreaking for comedy, and it's not, and like so many, like even like the TikTok videos of people messing with people.
Mhm.
It's like you're doing what Tom Green was doing 20, 30 years ago. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, another guy that I've opened up for, and kind of in the similar vein, was Steve-O. And
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't really talk with him too much, but it was a fun weekend. That was at the old club over in Webster, the comedy club there, and he had I don't know what he's doing now, but his closer back then was like this trick where he would get naked, and then he would do some maneuver where he wouldn't have anything, like he would swing it back and then it would be gone. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm trying to,
Yeah, we
clean
got
it
you.
up.
We got you.
He's naked, and then the thing is like I was hosting or whatever, I was opening for him, and so I was like on the side of the stage, so the audience couldn't see, but I could because I had that back view. So that was interesting, but
Oh boy.
yeah, Steve-O is I don't know. Good thing he's rich and famous because not too much going on back there. But
Yeah, but what he's rich and famous for is like mind blowing stuff, right? Like just go
yeah,
outside and staple your hand to the sidewalk, or like get run
yeah,
over by a car. Like what?
yeah. I mean, definitely, yeah. I mean, he would do some ridiculous stuff. He was like one of the guy that would do, the most insane stuff. But not to take away from, he's very talented too. He went to, I think it was like clown school. He was in the circus for a little bit. He could do some wild stuff too. So, his comedy was okay too. But
Yeah.
but it was a fun weekend.
So I know you mentioned grew up on SNL. Who might be a couple of your I guess the word is, people that you drive your comedy style from, or, people you look up to that maybe kind of help you focus on the type of comedy you're going to deliver.
Yeah. I grew up on SNL. I think I mentioned a few. Sandler is my guy. I love Adam Sandler so much. I got lucky, and he was touring just recently, and it was like 2 years ago. I don't know. Time is weird when you have a kid. Anyways, I think it was 2 years ago. In November, he was touring. He went to the Blue Cross Arena, and it was an awesome show. My wife and I were dying the whole time. And he brought out all these celebrities. It was so weird. We couldn't believe it. It was like
Yeah.
Kevin James and Rob Schneider, and all of these celebrities kept popping out. We were losing our minds. And the one that I went crazy for too was Ben Stiller came out, and I was like, that's one of my guys too. Yeah, I was just like, what? In Rochester, it was wild. But Sandler, yeah, Sandler definitely. I grew up listening to his albums and everything, kind of like that Jerky Boys, kind of
Mhm.
like those live sketch type of things, doing lots of voices. My comedy's really nothing like Sandler's, but definitely just his funny I vibe with for sure.
So, fun fact about that, I was trying to actually get Adam to play both in the celebrity basketball game and do the headliner on the gala that you'll be a part of. A lot of phone calls, a lot of work with his agents, just couldn't pull it together at the time. I'm sure if he was driving through town and I said, "Hey, do you want to play basketball?" That guy would be at the basketball game in a heartbeat. I mean, he pulls up in New York City all the time, to play hoops with just guys in the street. So he's a great guy, down to earth.
Yeah.
Um, would really love, I think what's interesting in what I do with the sports and a lot of the talent is if you talk to the individuals themselves, 90% of the time they're going to come do whatever you need them to do. It's when you get the agents involved or you get the management, the booking team, then it's like, oh, they're not interested. And I'm like, did you even ask them? Like, did you even just go in front of them and say, hey, there's a basketball game for the Mental Health Association. We know you love basketball. You're really, in tune with what's going on in the community and giving back. Did you even ask him? Like, I know a lot of people probably ask for a lot of things, but like, did you even run it by him? Because maybe he's like, yeah, I'll go suit up and play a game of celebrity basketball in Rochester, New York. But unfortunately, I couldn't shake hands and make the deal. But that would have been fun for you. Would have been extremely fun for me. I love every single one of Adam Sandler's movies. So yeah, I was not backing away from that one until I got a no. And usually no for me is next opportunity, but I got enough hard no's that I wasn't able to get the next opportunity. I left it at the door. So
Wow.
I'm
Thanks for
shocked.
trying.
I am shocked that you took no for an answer.
I
You.
know. I know. It's tough.
Speechless.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you talked about your style isn't this, isn't that. So, what is your style of comedy?
Yeah, no, I get that question quite a bit. I just really take, just life experiences, what's going on in my life. Growing up as an only child, I talk about that, my job a little bit, my family, my wife. Now I have a baby, a 1 year old. And so I talk about him a little bit. And so, just life experiences that I pull from. I think my biggest influences as far as stand up goes, I love John Mulaney is one of my guys. Pete Holmes is one of my guys. Trying to think, guys that I always listen to. I don't know, Dave Attell, I love. Um, but I'm just a comedy nerd when it comes down to it. I listen to everybody. Somebody puts out an album, I'm listening to it. So take a little bit from everybody, but it's all unique and to my own life experiences.
So when we talked to Megan a few weeks ago, one of the topics that came up was crowd work. It seems to be the newest hype within the last 5 years, I would say. I mean, it was done a long time ago too, but it probably not as front and center it is now. And nowadays you turn on TikTok, YouTube. There's a lot of crowd work by a lot of these comedians. Megan gave us kind of the background of what some comedians think about what crowd work is versus people that write sets and people that go up and perform, tell stories. What's your thoughts about that? And do you enjoy doing crowd work? Do you do a lot of crowd work or?
Yeah. No, I like a mix of both material and crowd work. I think I'm my best when I'm able to weave in and out of material, jokes, and then interacting with the audience. I just did a set this past weekend, and it was one of those type of sets where I can riff a little bit just right off the top on just random stuff. And then, I go into some jokes, I put it to the audience, I talk to some people. Sometimes you get like bigger pops and like bigger laughs just from talking to people. You just never know. And it's fun. I think the audience likes it even before all these trends. It's like just that organic, making a joke in the room type of thing is awesome because everybody's in on it. It just happened here now, and there was nothing planned. I don't know these people, so it's fun. And then I get to flex my improv skills with that, especially. I have a lot of fun with that. I'm pretty quick on things, and so like crowd work is definitely one of my strengths. I don't always lead with it, but it can help turn around a crowd sometimes too. You just never know. It's like sometimes you just got to bring them in a little more and talk to them and break it down, and then you can go into material and then they'll be like, oh, this guy's okay. So but you never know. You always want to have all these tools on the utility belt when you go into a show because you don't know how an audience is going to be.
Yeah, Megan had shared that some comedians think that crowd work is like lazy because you're not prepping
Yeah,
for a set and all that. And I said I absolutely think crowd work, just when you're talking improv, is the most genius and genuine type of comedy because like you said, you don't know the people you're asking the question to. You could
right.
get an answer way out in left field, and you're like, whoa, where is this going to take us? And then it takes you on a journey, and somebody to your right now speaks up and says something that doesn't really match with what you're talking about, and now you jumped on them, right? And so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I think it's freaking hysterical. I could watch crowd work all day, even if it's stupid crowd work, because so I understand why like old school comedians are like, we've paved the way, we've put in our work, we've written our sets, right? It's not fair that you could just show up to a club and be like, well, I'm not, I'm prepped, but not prepped to the extent of like you might have like questions you're gonna ask the crowd, but you're not like got a full hour set of jokes or whatever. And she was like, it's so strange because she said there's this dynamic of like the old school comics who are like, this is how it has to be done, this is it, and then there's just new young and up and coming who are doing a little bit of both or who may just come out and do crowd work. I think of like Nate Jackson and Matt Rife and some of those guys who literally just get on stage and it's all about the crowd. It's not really telling you a story. So I
yeah,
think it's
yeah,
cool that
yeah.
you get to do both, and I could see how that would work based on what you're sharing, kind of your style.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. The fun thing for me too is that I've been doing comedy for a while and I got just this Rolodex of jokes in my head. And I go up there with a pretty prepared set. For this gala, I'm going to be prepared with a set. But the thing is like crowd work sometimes will lead you in different directions. And the way my brain works is like in the interaction, I'm talking to this person, but I'm also the gear is turning and I'm thinking about a joke that I can jump right into because of what we're talking about. And that's fun for me too. And I'm like, it's like a choose your adventure type of thing. You're like, okay, so the audience wants to go this way and they steer me that way, and I'm okay with that. I'm not like so rigid, be like, oh well, this is what I'm talking about right now. So it's really about the audience and if I have the material and if there's something a funny thought I've had about something, then I'm gonna share it.
Very cool.
So, tell us a little bit about your podcast and how you got into that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So my podcast is Refined Taste with Dario and Chris, or just Refined Taste. Joe mentioned before we had won Best Podcast in Rochester 2 years. This past year we won. It was kind of a surprise. We've been slowing things down a little bit. Obviously, I'm busy with having a kid and comedy and life, and so. But we've been doing it since 2020, and so right around this time in 2020, you guys probably maybe remember. I don't know what was happening, but
The
this
stand.
weird thing called
I
a
think it was called
pandemic was
Jovid,
happening.
just
Yeah,
like National
Jovid.
Joe Day. It was
Okay.
called Jovid.
I don't know if you want to be associated with that, but okay.
Oh, I
Uh,
Jovid 19, baby. Whoop, whoop.
well, yeah. So that was happening. Obviously, all the stages closed down. I wasn't able to do stand up, and I gotta stay creative. I gotta stay doing something. And so I tried a few other things, but one of my buddies that I did the comedy with, this guy Chris Thompson, he was a food writer at the time for a city newspaper, and I came back into town in 2019, and I hit him up, and he was going to one of the restaurants, and I think I just wanted free food at the time. I don't know, because he goes to these things and they just give him free food, and I was like, hey, next time you go out to one, invite me, right? And so he did. He invited me, and it was this restaurant that doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. It's called Sweet Mist, and it was this whole concept where they would like make the ice cream on the spot with these machines. Like you just choose all these flavors, and they would make it. It was pretty cool, and the mist would come out. Anyways, and so I went to that one. We call that episode 0, basically. And so when this pandemic happened, it was like Chris was like the obvious choice. That was my guy to hit up. And I said, Chris, I got this idea. I want comedy, I want food, and I want Rochester. And those were the three things that came together, and that's what created Refined Taste. And the whole concept really was about, uplifting and showcasing, kind of unrepresented groups. We're talking, women, LGBTQ plus, Black, brown owned businesses, and we were all about that type of thing. We did everybody, but we were really focusing on that because they're more likely to fail than any other businesses, especially during that time.
Mhm.
But everybody needed an uplift during that time, and people were willing and welcomed talking to us, and it kind of just took off, and we went out and visited all these businesses and had fun doing it. We went to Joe. You've been the Pizza Wizard. You're a Pizza Wizard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we went Pizza Wizard. They had just opened at that time, and so we dressed up in robes as wizards and went and visited them. And so like we did like wacky stuff like that. The social media really took off, and that kind of lifted everything else.
So I have two takeaways from that story. Number
Yeah.
one, Jen, in a year, we can win best podcast because it took them a year to get there. So we have a year. But number two, I'm a little bit disappointed that 3 years you lost. I would
Oh,
like
well,
to
no, there's
know.
a story. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's what I want to know because 21 you won, 24 you won, 22 and 23. So it's only 2 years, I guess, because obviously I can't add. It's Jen's math I'm doing. But 22 and 23, you failed to climb that, podcast tier. And now you have Jen and I starting up with the Reality Check podcast, and you're kind of moving out of the way because you saw we were coming. I understand. But yeah, I'm curious what happened those 2 years. That was my other takeaway.
Yeah, no, we didn't lose. They took away the category, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
that's good to
So
know.
Chris and
So
I
you
would
should
always
just
joke.
automatically
Yeah.
claim like we won 2021 to 2024 best
Well,
podcast.
yeah. We said we won so bad in
They took it away.
2021 that they just took it away. They were like, well,
Yeah.
it's over then, I guess. So,
You gotta let somebody
but
else win once in a while, right? So
It's kind of
yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah.
Doritos. It's kind of like the food ahead. Actually, Jen and I won 22 and 23. They knew we were going to be doing a podcast in 25. So we are the 2022 and 2023 funniest podcast. Perfect.
yeah,
I'm taking it. You didn't know about it. I'm taking it. It's ours.
There you
You're
go.
welcome.
sounds
You got
That'll we're approaching about we're about almost a month and a half away from a big event that we're going to be partnering on May 2nd. We have what are you looking at that for?
well. You guys get to be partners. I'm not allowed to come.
She's still a little bit bitter. She can come, but
I'm not
she's not a
invited.
partner in it. But on May 2nd, we're doing a stand up for mental health gala. And you and Megan Rose and Jessie Mae Peluso will be performing at the gala, where we'll celebrate three award winners who support mental health. And we'll have a band, The Transport, playing right after dinner and after the comedy show. And then on Saturday night, you're going to lace up your sneakers and hop on the floor with some former NBA players, some former WNBA players, some NFL players, some major leaguers, and then just a few local celebrities and media personalities, as well as you and Jessie Mae and Megan Rose. So just want to talk a little bit about what you're looking forward to that weekend, what got you excited to help out with the Mental Health Association of Rochester, and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm super glad, I was approached about this. Mental health is super important to me. Since I got back from New York, I've been in therapy, and it's helped me enormously. I think I'm where I am now, in my job, in my life, as a husband, as a father, because of therapy and then because of working on myself. So I'm so I'm a big proponent of working on yourself and therapy itself. Um, and I'm very involved in the community. I've worked with NAMI quite a bit. I emceed their walk a couple of years in a row, and I'm always willing to help anything that has mental health in it. So this is great. I'm glad that I had connection and comedy was in it too. So it's really great.
So when was the last time you played basketball? Because, Megan had said she told us a story from seventh grade where she made her first basket and then, all the kids ran by her and she didn't even get a chance to celebrate because they went down and scored on the other end. So she was talking about that, she's looking to light it up. I told her the prop bet over under was, 2 points. She feels like she's going to hit a 3-pointer, maybe a 4-pointer. So kind of curious about your athletic background and what you're going to bring to the floor on May 3rd.
Yeah. No, I've been getting into the Y a little bit. So I've been playing some pickup ball over at the Pittsburgh Y. If anybody wants to come over on Saturday mornings and kill me. No, I honestly like I use basketball and I always did this even through college as like a cardio type of thing because I always hate cardio. I don't like running in place and any of that stuff. So basketball was always my thing because you just get such a great workout doing it. So I've been getting back on the floor like primarily because of this. I want to number one, I don't want to look like a fool. Number two, I don't want to injure myself. So those are my two things. I'm gonna look good out there. I already know that. But aside from that, I just don't want to hurt myself. Is probably number one.
Yeah, and playing against like a Joe Smith or a Vernon Davis or a couple of those bigger guys, John Wallace. Yeah, I would just stay out of the way.
Yeah.
Maybe if you could stop them and just tell them a joke or something, then you could steal the ball. Something might work in your favor. But it'll be it'll be a good time. I know tickets are selling pretty good right now for it. We'll do a VIP meet and greet before the game where the fans get to meet the athletes and the stars and do some autographs, and then we'll just raise fun and have a fun night. It's going to be a good time. A majority of the athletes actually are going to be at the stand up for mental health on Friday night. They're coming in early to attend. I was shocked because a lot of them usually just fly in on the day of and go back out on Sunday, but a lot of them are going to come in Friday night and attend the gala, which will be super cool to have that interaction, not only for you guys, you and Megan and Jesse May, to perform in front of them, and maybe they have some connections that can kind of facilitate opportunities for you guys. As you know, I also was working on Jimmy Fallon. He was just here 2 weeks ago. Had I known that, I would have ended up at out in whatever it is in McCollum, whatever it is. I would have ended up out there. Huh?
I think he goes to Iron Smoke.
No, he goes to McCulroy's, right? Or
McConaughey's, yeah.
Yeah, McConaughey's. He's good friends with the owner of that. So he comes into town, he sings there, he plays. Yeah. So don't tell her that. Then she thinks she's right about something.
You can both be right.
No, we can't. Not on this podcast. It's the Joe Show.
Nope.
We put her name first just for alphabetical order. But yeah, so I was hoping that we'd have him, and I know you and I talked about that when we initially sat. And unfortunately, because he tapes the show on Friday night, he couldn't get away to come up Friday night for the gala, and then the basketball game. Once again, I was dealing with managers, so I'm not sure they pitched it to him, and I really tried getting a hold of his buddy that owns the restaurant to just see if he could, slip in our information. But I'm sure he probably gets a lot of people calling him and saying, "Hey, can you have Jimmy do this and do Jimmy do this?" And if you're not in, you're not in. So,
Sure.
But it was good try. But super excited to see you on the court. Super excited to hear your comedy. Super excited for the funds we're going to raise both nights. I mean, all proceeds go to benefit the Mental Health Association. Jen will be there as a guest. She just feels bad because she's not part of the big, gala event. She wants her name on it. Maybe she can just do a live podcast from there by herself while the rest of us are doing stuff. You could. Maybe you can interview some of the athletes or the comedians when they're done. Have you ever worked with Jessie May Peluso?
Have I? No. I know of her. I know she's from the Syracuse area, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've never worked with her before.
She's nuts. And I mean that in a good way. I met her a couple years ago when she was at Carlson. I took my staff because she was a big advocate of dementia, and her grandfather had dementia, and she raised awareness for Alzheimer's. And so I took my healthcare staff there, and we sat literally stage here, us here, and oh, she ripped us a new one the whole time, not knowing it was us until after the show, and then she took a picture with us. And then when I reached out to her and told her, who I was, she's like, "I'll do whatever you need. Like, I'd love to come back home and perform." And I was trying to
Awesome.
explain like it's not as dirty as the show that you had at Carlson. Like, you got to clean it up a little bit because I'm not sure, who's going to be in the audience. But she's like, "No, no, not a problem." But and then with the basketball, like she's so excited about the basketball. She's like, I'm not really a basketball player, but like we'll make it work. I'll lace up the sneakers, we'll have some fun, and it'll be a good time. So super excited to have you guys, and thank you very much for being willing to do that. Uh, so with that being said, we're going to transition into our last segment, Jen's favorite, um, questions for humans, which I warned you about, Dario, and she does this
Yes.
randomly, so not sure, not sure what we're getting
Right.
into tonight, but we've had some
Okay.
good ones.
Are we ready? Okay. All right. Would you rather? These are always fun ones. Boys, would you rather get a tattoo sleeve, get a lip ring, or shave your eyebrows off? Joe, take it away.
I, yeah. So the first one is get a whole tattoo sleeve,
A whole sleeve.
huh. A lip ring, or
Shave them.
you know what? I think I'd go with the shaved eyebrows. I
Of
think the
course you
bald
would.
head with the shaved eyebrows would be a hot look. Um, I feel like it just be down here would be the hair, and then right here, like all party up here, nothing here. Good. Yeah, I think I'd do that. Plus, I think that would hurt the least. So safety first. I'm going with the
Oh,
pain factor. Yeah.
okay. Well, I would say I can't shave my eyebrows off because there's just too much there. Like it would be totally weird. And I don't think I would want my lip pierced because that would hurt a lot. Um, and I really think that the sleeve is like kind of cool and badass. And so, like, when you go to CrossFit, there's lots of girls who have sleeves. So that's what I'm going with.
Hmm.
Sleeve. Dario,
And your CrossFit, is there a guy that has a mohawk?
there's not a guy who has a mohawk.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised. I used to work out at a gym, and there was always at least one guy with a mohawk at every time. And I used to always joke about if there was two guys with a mohawk, they'd have to fight because there could only be one type of thing.
You know, you really should come to our CrossFit box because we'll have you ripped up and ready to go for the basketball game because Joe refuses to come. So if you come, then you're like that much farther ahead.
Hold. I do CrossFat. That's why I'm not going to go to CrossFit. CrossFat is where it's at.
Just so happens that next week it's Bring a Friend Week. You could come all week for free, get all jacked up, ready to go.
There you go, Dario. It's all yours.
Only a week it'll take you. That's
And you'll
it.
be
That's
jacked.
all it's going to take you. 1 week.
No, yeah, I guess I would do the eyebrows because they would grow back. But I have one tattoo. And the thing is, I would probably get other tattoos. I just can't figure out what to get. And
Right.
so, yeah, that would be tough to fill a whole sleeve. So that'd be tough. I mean, my wife has like 5 tattoos. She just recently got a new one, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not big on pain either. The lip ring is completely out. I would definitely not
I
do
don't know. I
that.
think you look good in a lip ring. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Nose ring, maybe, but
Yeah. Potentially.
yeah.
After the
No,
show on May 2nd, we'll all go get matching tattoos. It'll be May 2nd, mental health gala, stand up. We'll get Jesse May, Megan, you, me and Jen. We'll just go get matching tattoos and shave our eyebrows at the same time. It'll be a great time. It'll be a party like no one
Maybe
else
we'll
has
have to
ever.
decide what to get. We'll get bags of queso Doritos on our arms.
I think it sounds like a plan. And then we'll go to TSE on Saturday before the game and play with the parachute. It'll be a blast. We have a whole
Full
weekend
circle.
planned. I'm so excited. So once again, Dario, if you have any socials you want to throw out, your podcast, anything, if you throw those out now, Jen will throw those up on the screen because she loves the edit piece of this. We have so many graphics on our podcast now. It's so exciting every week. I can't wait to see them when she throws them up. Yeah. So
All right. Yeah. So people will see me, like they'll see this.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Because there were some references. I wasn't sure if people could see it. Cool. Um, yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Dardar Stinks. Dardar Stinks on Instagram. It's like Jar Jar Banks. Um, the podcast, it's Refined Rod. Hold on, I'll look it up so I don't mess it up. Sorry. Refined Taste Rock. ROC. Refined Taste Rock. We post we have comedy shows that we do through Refined Taste, and we post them on there too. So if you want to come out to something, we always do them at local restaurants. It's a lot of fun.
you have any shows coming up that you're going to be part of here locally that you can throw out there as well?
Yeah, I got a ton in April. I'll give you a few. Hold on. Yeah, in April locally, 20 Deep Winery I'll be at. I think that's in like Honey Eye Falls or something. That's on April 3rd. April 10th, I'll be at Sager Stoneyard Pub. That's a really fun show. The last one sold out. It was really packed and really cool. April 12th, I'll be at Vine and Tap. I think that's like in Charlotte with Cindy Arena. That's going to be we're both co-headlining. That's going to be a great show. And at the end of the month, I'll be in Erie, Pennsylvania. So if you have any Erie, Pennsylvania listeners, I'll be there for the flagship comedy fest. So
Well, we do have a
$24
Russian listener. If you want to perform in Russia, we have one Russian listener.
Oh,
So maybe we can get you something over there.
no thanks. I'm good. But
I heard things are heating
hey,
up really well
thanks
over
for
there, like
listening.
comedy and
But
everything.
yeah, well, okay. But I'll pass though.
Are you sure?
He's
It might be
busy.
a one way. It might be a one-way trip. I'm not sure if
That's what I'm saying.
it's something
I'm
you're
good.
not going to forget for sure. It's explosive over there. It's great. A lot of fun.
No, thank you. Send my regards to Putin.
Yeah, I'll tell him.
Uh,
I don't know if he's the listener, but maybe somebody is listening from his cabinet. It could be.
oh boy.
Hey.
All right. Well, we love you. Don't kill us.
So, so if Jen and I were to appear at one of these shows, I feel like backstage passes are all inclusive. Shaking hands,
Yeah, if there was
kissing
a
babies.
backstage, but
Well, I don't want to
yeah.
stand on the side of the stage like you and Steve-O, but I'm fine just front stage. Yeah, you
Only
know.
my wife gets that treatment, but and she doesn't like it either. But yeah. Well, if you want to come out to any of those shows, hit me up. Let me know. And you're definitely comped. But
Will do.
cool.
Thank you so much. Before we go, I know we didn't talk about this when we were talking more about you, but you currently work at Canandaigua National Bank as a financial advisor. Is that correct? A wealth advisor? Is that what it's called?
Wealth advisor. Yep.
So
Yep.
can you just real quick just tell people what you do there? That way, if they're looking for help with their finance stuff, I just want to make sure we cover all aspects of what you do because, we do have a lot of listeners from Rochester or viewers. I won't say we have subscribers, but we do have a lot of viewers from the Rochester area. And so if anybody's looking for help with their wealth management, I want to make sure we can throw that on this too for you.
Sure. Yeah. 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 I'm a wealth advisor. I work with people, primarily people that are, nearing retirement, moving 401ks over from their job, things like that. But we're like, holistic financial planning. So anything that you might need, it's really based on, the client's needs when it comes down to it, whatever, they're planning for after work in the future, we're going to help them get to that goal. Whether they want to travel, they want to set up trusts or an estate, things like that. We help with everything. Um, no, it's really awesome. I have a lot of fun doing that. I've had 10, 12 years experience in banking. I started in retail banking. I was a manager in the branches, moved over to wealth, and it was like completely new to me. And I've been over there about 5 years. I just recently got promoted, so still getting my hands around things, but it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, now I'd be happy to help you.
So where my brain goes again, the dichotomy of a comedian doing my finances, it would be hysterical, right? Like you're broke like a joke. There's nothing to advise you on. We appreciate you coming. Have a great day, right? So yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
appreciate
no, no, the comedian Dario you don't see in the office. I kind of compare it to a Batman Bruce Wayne situation.
I like
So
it. I like
yeah,
it.
yeah, no, that Dario supports the Dario you're seeing right now.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate it. Well, thanks again for
yeah,
joining us tonight. Um, on behalf of Jen, I'm Joe. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow on all of our podcast platforms: iTunes, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and YouTube. You can get them all. And on some of those, you can actually see it. So when you're referencing the 1 year old birthday party, obviously you can see it at YouTube, you can see it at Spotify. I'm not sure if Amazon and Apple and iTunes cover it, but if they don't, you can listen. Dario, thanks again. We appreciate your time and look forward to May 2nd and May 3rd seeing you on stage as well as on the basketball court. Thanks again.
Jen Joe, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Can't wait.